Hello. It's Wednesday. How is it Wednesday already? I think when you get a bank holiday at the beginning of the week, it just kind of throws you out a little bit, doesn't it? So I'm still on Tuesday, quite honestly. But it is Wednesday, so hump day. It's that time of the week when we're a little bit... So one of the reasons that I started these sessions is to give you a bit of a kick up the bum, I suppose, in the nicest possible way, on a Wednesday, to give you a bit of inspiration, give you something interesting to think about, to listen to. So I have a different person on each week that I talk to. And this week we've got Beth, who's a wellness coach, I'm thinking. Is that how you describe yourself, Beth? Give me a nod. I'm going to bring Beth out in a sec, but she does some really interesting work with women, so I'm all over that, as you know. I love working with women to improve their confidence and self-belief and all that type of good stuff. So that was one of the reasons I was really keen to talk to Beth. So I've just noticed that my normal webcam isn't working. So I'm a little bit fuzzy. I'll just plug that in and see if it works. If not, we'll just make do with this old one. So yes, let's bring Beth out and get our chat on. Hey, Beth.
Hi, Nick. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. It's a 4-day working week, so, it's going to be good.
Yeah, I don't know which day it is either. I think I'm still on Tuesday. I thought Monday was definitely Sunday, so yeah, no idea.
It just really throws you out, doesn't it? It's just like, where am I?
What should I be doing today? I've absolutely no idea. And it's half term as well, so I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah, with the whole kids off school stuff. Wow. Yeah. So yes, tell us a bit about you and what you do, because I'm fascinated by all this stuff.
Oh, thank you for that. So I'm Beth. I'm a women's health and fitness coach, and I work with women who are experiencing pelvic health problems, particularly pelvic organ prolapse, and I really support them in helping them to kind of get back to their active and awesome lives through coaching, through movement stuff, kind of bringing those two things together, just to help them, I guess, reframe perhaps some of the challenges that they feel that they have been facing, but also supporting them through to just get stronger and more confident so that they can get back to doing, the exercise they love, or running around after the kids, or, kind of whatever it is.
Brilliant. And tell us a bit more about, because I've heard of prolapse, but the way you describe it as kind of, it sounds more than I was thinking. So, tell us a bit more about what that involves exactly.
Yeah, so pelvic organ prolapse it's essentially a loss of support from the pelvic floor muscles or the ligaments of the pelvic floor, and what happens is it causes some level of descent of the pelvic organs, and that can show up as maybe it's a feeling of heaviness that women notice perhaps more when they're doing exercise, or perhaps they notice it all the time. There could be some bulging, so actually if they were to look at themselves, it would look different. They might notice that there was a bulge there. It might crop up with back pain, leaking, and it can happen kind of any time, but actually where we tend to see it most is post-birth and in that recovery, but also as women get older and they go into perimenopause and menopause, and there's some changes to, the health of the pelvic floor muscles and the tissues that make it up. So it's you know, it's something, again, it's one of those, you know, almost, I don't like to call it a taboo subject, because actually it's common for women to experience this on, you know, to different degrees. But it doesn't, you know, it doesn't get talked about much. You know, our pelvic health often doesn't get talked about much as well. And I see it as just another element of our health that we can look after and, you know, build habits around it to make sure that actually we are looking after our pelvic health.
Yeah, because it's another area, I guess, where we can become held back. So if it's something that's, you know, embarrassing or awkward to talk about, it's one of those things that we brush under the carpet and then live a life that's limited as a result of that. So that's what I like about what you do. I think it's kind of helping people to overcome these difficulties, you know, and find ways around so that the quality of life isn't compromised.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I think we can sometimes think of this as just, oh, it's just like a pelvic floor issue. Oh, it's just a little bit of leaking. Oh, it's, you know, it's, you know, quite often women, you know, perhaps have been told by their healthcare providers that, you know, oh, you've had a baby, what do you expect? Or, you know, you're going through the menopause, it just happens. And I can't stand that kind of response to, you know, a woman who has gone to someone for help, and that as the response. So yeah, I really love the parallels, because actually it does limit women in what they feel that they can do in their lives, and you know, it can hold them back. So yeah, I really love the way that you kind of talk about that, and lots of parallels with, you know, what you do and how you help your clients and how you help women as well.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm no stranger to a bit of leakage. Let's be honest, it does happen. So yeah, it's good to know.
And then, you know, it does happen. Absolutely, it does
Those
happen.
moments.
Yeah, it does happen. I think, you know, it's one of the it's one of those things that we talk about it in such a way that yeah, it's just that, like, the way that we talk about it, we can be like open about it, but also know that there is help, you know, out there, and it doesn't matter whatever age you are, whatever stage of life you are, that, you know, there is support out there. It doesn't need to be one of those things that you just think, oh, you know, I just kind of live with that or whatever. So
Definitely. Mine's when I do trampolining. So or laugh a bit too much. That's the other classic, isn't it? So yeah.
it is. It does tend to show up, you know, in those scenarios where there's like almost like a really sudden challenge for the pelvic floor, which quite often can be laughing. And trampoline, you will not be the only person to say that that's their experience when they're, you know, when they're on a trampoline.
Definitely. So I'm really interested in what got you into this. So generally, I think when we get, you know, take on these type of roles where we're really all about helping other people to overcome challenges, it's generally because we've had a similar challenge ourselves, or it really resonates with us for some reason. So I'm just curious to know sort of what's your backstory? How did you get into doing this? Because it's quite niche, isn't it, to go from kind of personal training into you know, pelvic floor prolapse as a specialty, if you like. So yeah, tell me a bit more about your story.
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, it is really niche. And like you said, you know, I started off personal training, or actually I didn't start off personal training. I started off in corporate world and always knew that I would not be there for forever in the corporate world. And you know, I started my personal training business, and it's just kind of evolved. I think what I've done is really just kind of thought, where's my interest? And I've kind of followed that, gradually getting, like more niche. And I think there's a couple of things around that. Is one, I just like being really specific. Trying to, wear lots of different hats or work with so many different types of people. I think I work best when I am helping one person to solve that one problem. And, also as I have gone through different stages of my life, from, being a marathon runner to, having children and the recoveries that were involved in those. And, I think I started to notice that the clients that I had felt really fired up by had been those clients who were dealing with this specific issue. So yeah, that's like my journey. But it's like, because I like, looking back, I thought that was a real like conscious like decision, but I think it's just been this kind of just follow where my passion is.
Yeah, I'm all for that. So I often say to my clients, it's about go with the energy, I always think, because there are certain things that you just feel kind of pulled towards, and there are things that you're pushed towards, and it's that kind of push versus pull. So I'm all about, whenever you feel that magical pull and you feel energized by something, that's what you should be doing, not kind of forcing yourself to do this stuff that you don't really enjoy, because life is just too short for that, isn't it? It's like, go with the energy, go with what's fun, go with what lights you up, and makes your day when you do it. So yeah, I totally agree with you on that. I feel like we're touching on the next question that I like to ask, really, which is about purpose and meaning. So that's a big one for me, and something that I have discovered over the last year, and more as time goes by now, is the difference, when you do something that you genuinely feel invested in, that gives you that kind of light up kind of thing. It's a great way to spend your days, isn't it? So I'm interested in what that is for you. What gives you purpose and meaning? What gets you out of bed each day?
I think it's an element of being able to perhaps help in a way or in a space that women didn't really know existed. And I think I kind of occupy almost like this strange kind of space where, my clients are either, perhaps recovering from birth and need support with that, or they're a little bit down the road and they just kind of have no idea how to like make that leap from rehabby stuff to like doing the stuff that they were perhaps doing before, or getting them closer to that. And I think it's about that journey, and it's being with someone on their journey. I just think it's really magical. So, when I work with people, I'm just always like, I'm very privileged to work with them on that journey, for the good bits and the bumpy bits as well. So I think, have it. And I don't work with people for like a huge, long period of time. So I always feel really blessed that I get to show up in their lives for that period of time, and hopefully teach them all the things that they feel that they want to know, and then send them on their merry way to enjoy their life.
Yeah, and you use a great word there, privilege. It really is. I really identify with that. It's kind of, we get to work with people who are struggling or challenged in some way, and we don't actually do the work, do we? They do the work. but there's just something magical about that relationship, and giving them the space and the encouragement and the confidence to feel that they can, and then they do, great things and get these great results, and we're there kind of on the coattails of that. um, and it's a really great, it's kind of a win-win, isn't it? It's sort of, it gives us work to do that's really rewarding for us, whilst also helping people get the results that they want. So it's this lovely kind of synergy, I think.
Yeah, completely.
What I'm also interested in is, I'm really big on people being their authentic selves, because I think life can be challenging, when you have this veneer of, wanting to please, wanting that validation, wanting to fit into whatever mold it is that allows you to do these certain things that you want to do, or that you think you want to do and want to achieve. It's quite draining. I've always found it quite difficult, being someone that I'm not. So I really champion authenticity and, praising ourselves, noticing and acknowledging the things that make us great and the things that make us unique, and how we add value to the world. So I'm interested in, what makes you special? What's your superpower or your special sauce, or what makes you unique, that means that you've got something great to offer people?
Oh, that's such a tough question, isn't it? Looking at my notes, and I think it's perhaps in my style of coaching. So when I was personal training, I was never that personal trainer who was like, get down, give me 20, that kind of thing. And I think actually kind of the way that I coach is quite gentle, is quite encouraging, hopefully is quite empowering. And I think that really suits what I'm doing, versus perhaps trying to fit into that mold of personal trainer, that I never quite felt I was. So I think it's almost like a gentle coaching kind of, hopefully a kind of quiet, understated confidence that also hopefully my clients feel that they can have kind of that quiet kind of confidence, and calmness as well.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. I think calm is one of the words I would use to describe you, actually, Beth. You're kind of not understated, but you're not kind of blah out there, like I'm quite busy, aren't I? You're sort of like, you get the message across with with some power, with integrity, and with passion, but just in a different way. I can see how that would work, particularly working with people with this type of challenge, because I guess they feel quite vulnerable, and exposed and nervous and all that type of thing. So I can really see how that style would be really supportive and kind of nurturing, and helping them to get there without the sort of drop and give me 20.
That's not what they need at like this stage in their life at all. And I think it's taken a long time to kind of like step into that as well. I think just as you get older, and I really think, I'm almost 44, I think the 40s are a really amazing decade for women, where actually I think more than ever before, I don't know, we just have this opportunity to kind of step into, being who we want to be, or perhaps a person who we weren't sure that we could be. And I think the 40s are a bit of just like sod it, I'm doing this kind of thing. So I think it's a little bit to do with kind of life stage as well. I don't know. It's definitely something magic about the 40s.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you there. It's almost not second chance, but almost like a second wind. You've kind of amassed all of this wisdom and life experience, and you look forward and you go, crap, there's quite a few years still ahead of me. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'm not really ready to throw the towel in. So you then start feeling like, what can I do with all of that richness and wealth of information? I don't want to just fizzle out. And so you almost go for that kind of, that big bang, that second coming almost.
Yeah, I like the idea of like a second wind, because that really helps encapsulate like some energy behind it as well. In that, yeah, you're kind of taking all experience and energy and everything that is kind of, I think everything that you have kind of felt a little bit restricted by, and you're able to just go, nah, just you know.
Yeah, it's kind of the decade where you sort of feel like, whatever. I don't care what people think now. It's sort of, you've lost that need to look a certain way, or behave in a certain way. And it's that intersection, isn't it, between having less of a need to sort of please and prove, and having more of a need to, right, come on, let's make this life count now. So I think the 40s is a good decade. I'm interested to see what the 50s are like, actually. I'm not far from the 50s now, just 3 more years to go, which is a bit scary. But yeah. Yeah, but when you think, I can't be that, I have to like recount it. Because I'm kind of like, is it? No. And then I'm like, no, it is. So yeah, moving on from that one quite quickly, I think. What about biggest learning? What's your biggest learning in life so far?
I think that, like, because when this is winding back a few decades, but when I was going off to university, I wanted to go and do nutrition, and kind of, bless my parents, they're wonderful, but they really steered me away from wanting to do nutrition. And I went off to university and I got a great degree and I got a job, but I never really felt like that was what I was supposed to be doing. And then I sort of started to move into, personal training and more nutrition and more health and stuff like that. And I just kind of, I don't know, perhaps it would be nice to have got to that point like a little bit earlier. And actually had thought at that point, like, what did I want to do? And really go and follow my passions at that point. So I think, when I think about my children, my approach, my approach will be different for them. And I don't know, I think that these days there's a lot more openness to really supporting, encouraging and empower people to follow the passions, as opposed to, nice, sensible job, those kind of things. But I've got to where I've got to be, and that's, it's an awesome place. I learned a lot along the way, but I think that'd be it. Again, just coming back to like passion and pursuing that, and working out what you need to be able to pursue that.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting, isn't it, how where we end up is very often nowhere near where we thought we were going to be. Like I started in lab work, so I did that for like 9 years at the beginning of my career, and thought that that's what I'll do. Yeah, I'll work in laboratories. I'm so into science and chemistry and all of that lot. And then now look.
Isn't it amazing that we get to have these like kind of like different stages, different elements of a career that other generations didn't have, because they just, that really wasn't what people did. Thinking about like my parents, they worked in one industry for their entire lives,
it's very different now, isn't it?
We get to just nip off and do this and do that, and it's, the skills will bring us back into something else and things like that. So
yeah, absolutely. I think It's about being a bit fearless, isn't it? It's about kind of getting out of that comfort zone and just trying stuff, because, so often we don't do it because we think, oh, it might not work out, or it might go horribly wrong. And there's always a way out of it. Things are never as bad as you think they're going to be. So, yeah, for me, there's something about just try it and see what's the worst that can happen. I think that's like one of my most used phrases is, what's the worst that can happen? No one died. That's like my biggest learning, I think, in life so far is just bloody try it. What's the worst that can happen? But yes, I'm mindful of time because I always like to finish at 1. It's feeding time and I'm all about the food. So one of my big passions is about confidence. Obviously, that's what I like to work with people on in terms of increasing that self-belief and self-esteem. And I guess what you do also feeds into that, just from a different aspect. But what tips, tricks, or advice have you got, whether related to confidence or not? It might be, more specific to what you do. What tips, tricks, or advice have you got to offer people?
I like helping people just to start on that journey. There's no certainty kind of in anything really. And it's almost like just start, just take a little step. And I think we can get so kind of blindsided by a big goal that we don't realise that it's a series of just like little steps, and we don't have to conquer the big things. We don't have to, go from not feeling confident to confident in one day. It's, it's building. It's like literally like little kind of, building blocks, and each step, each action just is that next little step.
Yeah, I love that. It's kind of like a snowball down a hill, isn't it? You just need to start it off. It can be the tiniest thing, but it has that effect of, once you do one thing, you go, ooh, and that inspires you then and gives you that confidence to do the next thing and the next thing. Before you know it, you've got that snowball rolling down the hill. But if you thought about the big end goal, it can feel quite overwhelming, can't it? So yeah, I love that. Just kind of little baby steps, little steps towards can take you a great distance ultimately over time, can't they?
Yeah, and I think I get really overwhelmed by like a big thing because it just feels like it just feels like too big. Like how I just be like, oh, how do I even like contemplate starting? But actually, if we just think about it in like little tiny increments, then it takes away some of that, oh my God, like that's a big goal. That's overwhelming because we're not aiming for that. We just need to do like the next little thing.
Yeah, eat the elephant a chunk at a time, isn't it, I suppose?
If you like eating elephants.
I do have a huge appetite, so if anyone's got any questions, pop them in the chat for me. And obviously, do connect with Beth because she's kind of awesome and has a wealth of information about all of this stuff. So I've just got a couple of silly questions to finish on because I'm just quite nosy and I like talking about cake and biscuits. So what is your favourite cake or biscuit, Beth?
Favourite cake or biscuits? I love cakes and biscuits and pastries. I'm a big fan of pastries.
Any of that? All of that?
Any of that. It's such a tough one. I can tell you what it wouldn't be, and that is any of the cakes that I make, because I'm terrible. I can't follow a recipe. But I'm also all for simplicity. So I think just like a really amazing, just victorious sponge cake. And a cup of tea.
When you said simplicity, I was thinking, is she going to go with a Vicky sponge?
Yes. Like stuff on the top. Just that's as good as it gets. And a cup of tea.
Yeah, a good Vicky sponge is a bit special, though, isn't it? It's nice. You can't beat it. Also, what about, because I'm really big on podcasts, they're like my new thing. I just love that you can absorb something interesting, entertaining, on the go while you're doing something else, and they're just really easy to digest. So I love that. So is there anything, YouTube, podcast, good old-fashioned book, Netflix, anything like that you're watching at the minute that you're really enjoying that you'd recommend?
So podcasts, I generally I try to listen to some quite a lot of business ones, but I listened to one. It's called Chasing Charlie, which was about a con man over in Australia, and I loved that. It was really nice to have a break from business mindset stuff and just listen to a story. So that, yeah, and my husband actually recommended that to me. And I've already listened to it, and he hasn't even started it yet. So, but yeah, Chasing Charlie, it's called.
Okay. And my final question is guilty pleasures. So, what's one of your guilty pleasures, Beth?
Oh, a bit of trashy TV.
How trashy are we talking, though?
Okay, so Made in Chelsea.
We watch that every now and again, though.
It's been on for a decade. Has
it really been that long?
And I think I probably watched pretty much every series.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's more of a guilty pleasure than mine. But I have noticed some of the same characters are back again now. So that guy with the dark hair, I can't think what his name is.
Ollie.
They're adopting a baby. Ollie, yes.
I know them all.
He's got those beautiful eyes. Yeah. Yeah. And then every so often we'll be like, oh, such and such hasn't been in it for ages, have they? And like old Spencer, I remember the days of Spencer.
Yeah.
He's now kind of married off, isn't he?
He has. And he's got a very funny podcast. Him and Jamie have got a really funny podcast called, I think it was I can't remember if it was 6 or 7 degrees of separation, but one of them. And yeah, that's really funny. So if you fancy a giggle, it's definitely worth a listen.
I see. Well, we're out of time, but it's been lovely talking to you, Beth. I know
You too.
So until next week, as I say, look Beth up, connect. If you want to connect to anyone, I like these sessions to be quite sort of interactive and a way to bring people together as well. So pop in the comments, open to connect. And when you see people have put that in, that's an opportunity for you to connect with those people. So until next time, have a great rest of the week, and I will catch you later. Bye.
Thanks, Nick. Bye.